me some sound over here.
You are a part of the Ace and TJ radio family.
Go.
This is launch control.
Let's synchronize, shall we?
Ace, TJ, Riggins, Alexis, Tech D-Rob.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Let's go!
Live from the Calitrin Studios, this is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Ace, I know you were celebrating your anniversary yesterday.
Yep.
You were at the spa.
I was all day.
And but I heard that you received or were going to receive a picture out of nowhere from someone. Did you get a text with a picture?
I did.
All right, so
Which had me dying laughing.
my father-in-law called me yesterday,
Let me get it here.
and he goes, "Hey, I thought you might want to hear this story." And I said, "Okay." He said, we went to eat lunch, and I was wearing my Ace and TJ hoodie, or my Ace and TJ sweatshirt. He got the crew neck. And he goes, and a woman in the restaurant came over and said, "Is that Ace and TJ, the radio show, Ace and TJ?" He goes, "Yeah, it is." And he said that she is Ace's ex-wife's stepsister, right?
Yeah.
And I said,
Tiffany.
I said, "Was her name Tiffany?" He goes, "I don't remember what she said." But here's the other part of that, Ace. She sent that to her husband.
Right.
Right. And do you know the rest of the story about sending it to her husband?
Yeah.
And
That's who contacted me. Was Todd,
okay.
her husband.
All right.
Yeah.
So she sends it to her husband and said, "Hey, I ran into this guy wearing an Ace and TJ shirt. Isn't that funny?" And he goes, "This guy, that's Rex. I know him. I put the roof on his house."
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Did he know that's
No. So that's the funny
your
part.
father-in-law?
So that's where I
Yeah.
come in, because Todd texts me, my ex, I guess he's my ex-brother-in-law.
Step-brother-in-law.
But he and I text all the routinely throughout the year about LSU football and all that kind of stuff. I hear from him all the time. Anyway, he sent me a text with the picture and said, "This guy said hi. Tiffany was having lunch at Wildwood Pizza, and she kept staring at him because of the shirt. He walked over and said, 'Do I know you?' Then she proceeds to find out it's TJ's father-in-law, and he said he got the shirt for Christmas because TJ, quote, is a cheap A, end quote." And there in the background of the picture is your mother-in-law standing by the door waiting on him to come back over.
Look, he's all posed up, got his
Yeah.
arms out, like, look, I'm a statue.
Yeah, and then Todd said, "Hey, what is Jody's maiden name? That looks like,"
Yeah.
and then it said Rex and her last name. "We did some work on his roof on his house." And I said, "Yeah, that's him." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I couldn't wait for your response. I already called him."
That's so funny. Small world. Well, not really. I mean, they're from the same town, but that is wild.
Yeah, they're all in a relatively small area there,
Yeah.
but for that to happen there.
That is crazy.
But cheap or not, he evidently likes his Christmas gift.
Yeah.
He looks good in it.
And that wasn't all we got.
And you had to pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming.
You're the one that runs the store.
I'm assuming you paid for
You
it.
know we got to order it ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have inventory.
But yeah, that was really weird.
That is wild.
Even more weird when we're sitting there, and yesterday my wife was big on just don't be on your phone or anything. I said, we're just relaxing here at the spa and having a good day. At one point she goes, "Who are you texting with?" And I said, "Todd." She goes, your ex-wife's brother-in-law?" And I said, "Sounds worse on your anniversary than it really is."
Yeah.
So wait a
On
minute.
paper, it doesn't.
She told you let's not be on our phones and everything. Y'all couldn't have been at the spa more than 5 minutes before she posted pictures and stuff of y'all at the spa sitting by the pool or whatever it was.
Let's find out what's trending.
That's like when Jody says, "Hey, let's cook something on the Blackstone tonight."
Oh.
If it's 21 degrees or 108 degrees.
Should we?
So let's stay off our phones.
Should we?
Click, post, check.
Like when we first got there, now, to be fair, when we first got there, I've got to do some, I got to have some blood work done next week. And so I was trying to schedule it. I was answering the email and trying to schedule it. And then Adam had sent a couple emails. Like, I'm just going to answer these emails real fast on my phone. We just, before the day really gets started, while we're kind of waiting and blah, 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 blah. But to your point, TJ, yes, just like, please, don't be on your phone all day. And I said, I won't. I'm sorry. You're right. And then, but I guess it's different if you're putting together Instagram, TikTok posts, whatever. Things like taking pictures of yourself, then turning and go, look, smile. When I said, I didn't even know what you were doing. I thought we weren't supposed to be on our phone.
No, that doesn't count because when they say we don't need to be on our phones, meaning whatever you're doing on your phone is not important. What I'm doing on mine is, and it's different. Well, and I'm not. This doesn't count.
Yeah, and what she was doing was about us, and what I was doing was just like work or goofing off or whatever. But anyway, it was odd, and it was really weird though when she said that. She goes, "Is that like Todd, your ex-brother-in-law?" Like, it sounds worse on your anniversary than it really is, but
So wait a minute. So when they saw each other in the restaurant, the ex-step sister, whatever,
Tiffany,
was staring at Rex, and that's why he went over to
he's
talk to him.
Because she must have been just staring him down.
So he's like, "What's going on?"
He's that type of guy.
That's funny.
And I think
he's real friendly. Like, do I know? Because and if he would have known her, he would have wanted to. Like, oh yeah, and then Ty, how's this? How are you this? How'd that go?
That's funny.
And he was just trying to see, or she was just trying to see, does his shirt say Ace and TJ? Is that what I think it says? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Would anybody else in this room react that way if you saw someone staring across the room at you? Because I certainly would not.
No.
To get up and go over there? Yeah. Oh, no.
No, but he's Mr. Social. He's a retired salesman, and he loves knowing people. And and look what happened. This is what he always tells me because I don't want to go talk to strangers and stuff. Look what happened. Yeah. They had something in common. Now they've got, that was a good moment. It was fine,
Everybody had a good laugh out of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as it's not like a biker staring me down like this. I'm going to at least acknowledge him.
See what's trending.
It's not the news. It's more important. Now trending with Riggins on the Ace and TJ Show.
And so for a few days, we've been dealing with these Stanley Cups, these pink Stanley Cups with collaboration with Starbucks. A lot of people going into Target to get them. And now there's more video of a guy just charging over this little Starbucks kiosk inside a Target and charges over the counter, grabs the box, cuts the line, and tries to storm out of the doors without paying for any of them. They retail for about $49 a piece. And it looks like the group that was waiting to purchase their own tackles the guy.
You want to hear it? I was going to play this in a minute, but check this out. Here we go. That's him going over the counter.
Get him! Stop him! Stop him! Stop him! Look at this is insane. Look at this. He is insane.
Yeah.
It's not clear if any of those people were security for Target because they wear plain clothes.
But it's more than one person.
It's a lot more than one, and it looks like the group just confronted the thief and tackled him and were yelling at him and pointing at him. Right. I mean, it was a wild scene over a cup.
Yeah, and that's why we had that story yesterday of the woman who considers herself a trend analyst saying that cool young people now are not interested in those things, the Stanley Cups anymore. That's going out because of old people going crazy over them.
Well, it looks like I don't know what these people are doing with the cups, but there are a lot of eBay listings for these pink Stanley Cups, and you can see the prices there, $250.
You're insane if you're paying $250 for a Stanley Cup that you can buy somewhere else or order online or for a lot less. That's
you can't get the pink one though.
$280 on another one.
That's crazy
for a $49 cup.
Man,
so
you know what? That is the subject of a Dear Papa letter for me.
You're not kidding.
My grandfather, who passed back in 2002, I think. He would not believe the state of the country today. So it's my idea. I want to just sit down and write him letters going, here's what's going on today, Papa. People are fighting over aluminum cups.
Isn't $50 a little rough for those two?
Yeah, and the retail price is $50, but some people are paying $250 for a cup.
Unreal. Unreal.
I'm glad you're not here to see this, Papa.
Yeah, really. Oscar Pistorius, that's probably a name you haven't heard in some years. He's been released from a South African prison on parole. This was after he shot and killed his girlfriend. He's the guy that had his legs amputated when he was a kid, but ran in the Olympics, and he was a Blade Runner. And then I think it was 2012 or 2013, he shot his model girlfriend through the bathroom door. He said he thought there was an intruder. So he spent more than 8 years in prison, and now he's out. So a really handsome guy, and an incredible, accomplished athlete. But that was a big story a few years ago. So now he's finally out of prison.
I just saw that headline this morning, and my first thought was, what? He's out of prison already?
Yeah.
I'd forgotten the part that he thought it was an intruder.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So they didn't get him for the worst possible charge.
Yeah, and then he appealed it.
Yeah.
They had let him out on house arrest, and he spent about a year on house arrest. Then he appealed it, and then they came back and they were like, "No, you're guilty of murder."
I was just shocked to see that he was already out of prison.
How do homeless people have house arrest? How do they keep up with a homeless person on house arrest?
I don't know that they do.
Fabulous question.
Good question.
Don't you also have to pay for yourself to be on house arrest? Like
The monitor.
Yeah, you have to pay for all that stuff yourself.
I think it's $400 a month. I really don't know. Yeah, they probably can't do it. Where do you track them down to? That's a good question. We could probably find that out, though. Christopher Nolan is trending this morning. I love this story. Christopher Nolan, obviously the director, probably the director of my generation. He directed all the new Batman movies. He did Tenet. He did Oppenheimer. So he's this monster director. He said he was doing a Peloton class, and his Peloton instructor said, "Did anybody see that movie Tenet? It was the worst thing I've ever seen." Calls it like a piece of ass. And she was talking about the movie because this song was playing from the movie during her class. And she was like, "I don't know, you got to be like an astrophysicist to understand that movie. I wish I could get that 2.5 hours of my life back. That thing was crappy." And meanwhile, the director's doing the class, and he's having to watch this Peloton instructor trash his movie. Now, a lot of people said the same thing. It was confusing and not very good, but he did not take it well. He said, "I think movie criticism should be left to the professionals."
Oh, shut up. If you pay your money, you can tell people what you think of a movie.
Yeah.
What do you
And he
think?
had, like,
You're
this
that's like saying I can't tell somebody if I like or don't like a song because I'm not a professional musician.
Yeah, he
That's
did not
dumb.
like that.
That's idiotic. Everybody has a right to their opinion of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're so sensitive, those Hollywood types.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if a professional movie critic gave it a bad review and said it was a piece of crap and all that stuff, he wouldn't like that either.
No, of course not.
Yeah. You're not a director.
I would hate to read those long reviews when they, you work years of your life on those things. And then Cat Williams is still trending from the other day. We've talked about that at
It's
length.
out of control.
He was on obviously Shannon Sharp's podcast. We discussed that, and it's a long podcast. I think it did 13 million views in the first 24 hours of its release. So that's all over the place. Followed by more Epstein documents have been released and unearthed. So I don't know. What's the biggest takeaway from the Epstein stuff? There's not as many. I thought they were going to be naming celebrities. Bing, 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 bang.
The biggest takeaway for me is it's just more proof of how the I don't know, the shady parts of our government work and the rich and powerful.
Yeah.
For all of the redactions and everything, and the way the intelligence agencies covered up the thing to begin with because of the names.
Never know
that
the
were
full
on it.
details.
And,
You're right.
and Epstein had those blackmail CDs in his house when they were raiding it, and then they said, "Oh well, we have to go get a warrant. We can't look at those without a warrant." And it took them 4 days to get a warrant, and then in that time, they had time to get rid of them and all. It doesn't take 4 days to get a warrant to look at somebody's files on their computer.
The rich and powerful get away with it again.
God, I'm so jealous.
And that's what's now trending.
There is a reporter in Britain who did an interview with a 13-year-old, and she has angered much of the world, possibly for good reason. And a lady who has done something that is mind-blowingly incredible. Well, she was doing something. Then the city came along and was like, slow down a minute. You're going to need a permit for that. Next.
Live on your radio and anytime you want on the Ace and TJ Family app or wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ Podcast and Radio Show.
When it comes to losing weight, sometimes you don't even know where to start. You know that it needs to happen, but you need some help. Well, you start by going to acetj.com/weight loss and ordering Calitrin. Calitrin is scientifically proven to help you lose weight, and it is not a drug. It is not a drug. Repeat that. So here's what you do. You go to acetj.com/Calitrin, order 3 months, and then you'll get 3 months free. 4 months free. That's how it works with Calitrin.
Hi, I'm Thomas Davis, and let me tell you why I'm a proud member of Team Neogenics.
If your nagging pain is keeping you from being active, do something about it. Join the long list of pros and average Joes who have found relief with our stem cell and regenerative therapies.
After trying all the others, I decided to try Neogenics. My knees and shoulders haven't felt this good since my college days. If you want to get back in the game, do what I did. Visit Neogenics, where all you have to lose is pain.
When it comes to your money and things like a cash out refi, you hear a lot of stuff these days. Information is flying around, but here's the bottom line. You want someone you can trust. Well, here is someone that we trust. Richard Toccato and the Richard Toccato Companies. We worked with Richard for years, and you know all the ins and outs, and more importantly, you give everybody options.
That's right. We have a lot of options. You know, this one lady, we just refinanced her house, paid off all of her credit card debts. She even paid her car off. She's saving $1,000 a month. So that really changes her life and her financial well-being.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to make a house payment until 2024. So, I mean, there's not a better time to do it is when you need the extra money every month.
They call it cash out, is what we call it in the business.
Cash out.
Cash out.
That's right, cash out.
So it's one free 5-minute phone call right now, 704-800-4719, 704-800-4719, or go to homewithrichard.com. Do it today. You'll be so glad you did. The Richard Toccato Companies.
Available when you want, how you want, on the Ace and TJ family app. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Winter gamer's going to get some respect. This kid's not even really a gamer. We had this story yesterday. There's a 13-year-old who just became the first person to ever beat the original Tetris. Whatever. I don't know. I don't understand this. I've played Tetris before. It's fun. Yeah. It made me remind myself to go watch that documentary that I keep wanting to watch, and I keep forgetting about it, about how they smuggled it out of Russia, which is supposed to be fantastic. True story. But
I heard somebody yesterday make a brilliant, hilarious joke because the headline said 13-year-old becomes the first person to beat Tetris. And he said, what a medical miracle that is.
Wonder who that was.
Oh, that was me, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, wait a minute.
Hey, he said like Tetris was a disease.
Well, I don't know this woman's name, but there's a British news anchor who interviewed this 13-year-old. They played the clip or something.
Yeah,
right?
she was just covering the story.
Yeah, she was just covering the story. They were playing clips of him when he beat it. And the video's pretty interesting. He's so excited. He can't believe that he's actually done it.
He's like hyperventilating. Clearly, he's accomplished something that he's wanted to do forever.
Tens of millions of people, if not more, have played this game through the years. And he's the first person to ever beat the game.
Yeah.
And then this is how she concludes her report.
As a mother, I would just say step away from the screen, go outside, get some fresh air. Beating Tetris is not a life goal. Speaking of fresh air, let's get a look at the weather.
Oh, even in Great Britain, they use cheesy segues with the news.
And people have just bombarded her like, shut up, leave him alone.
It's vicious on the internet. They're like, what is her name? And the guy that posted this video is like, I'm not going to give you her mention. We don't need to add any more violent rhetoric to this conversation. They're like, well, you posted it. You know, what's her username?
Yeah, he said, I would just add that I'm seeing some abusive comments being directed at the reporter. And in parentheses, I deliberately didn't at her in case that happened. By all means, criticize, but please rise above anything abusive.
People are vicious.
Yeah, and people are like, we need her at.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
They look at it as like she's tearing down this 13-year-old kid that accomplished something that has never been done before. Yeah. And she's diminishing his, sort of accomplishment. He was so excited. Why he's 13.
He's 13.
He's 13.
Get a grip.
And then this is just wild. Well, just a quick second to try to explain this story because it's crazy. There's a TikToker who's known as Tunnel Girl, and she's been building a huge tunnel under her home. Her house is near D.C. The tunnel is at least 22 feet deep. Now, she's in the news now because the city just came in and figured out what she was doing, I guess, through TikTok. And we're like, no, ma'am, you don't go building a tunnel system in the city without having some permits. So they've shut her down. Now she's waiting to see if her town's going to let her work on it. But the amount of work that went into this is astonishing. It's unbelievable how detailed this is. But just here's part of her talk showing off the tunnel.
It's just been over a year since I started building my underground tunnel system. In August of 22, I cut an opening off the side of the subbasement and started to carve into the solid rock. Fabricated an elevator to lift material, 1,000 pounds at a time. As the entrance tunnel stretched longer and deeper, I bought an electric yard cart.
It's unbelievable. She uses cement blocks to build the walls and everything in this tunnel system, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's very smart. I just would have assumed she'd be a better reader.
Oh my gosh.
I would too. You've got to be a better presenter of the information than that.
That's why you
But where does she live?
Around D.C., near Washington, D.C.
I mean, I don't blame her. I'd want an escape tunnel out of there too if I needed it.
But what makes you
Get
think?
out of D.C.
What in the world makes you think I'm going to build this whole tunnel system? But I don't need to let the city know or get a permit or anything like that. That's crazy.
I'm going to do it for TikTok.
She sounds like a chat box.
Hey, stick with digging tunnels. Public speaker, not really in the cards for you.
She should have paid somebody to do the speaking part of that little video that she was doing.
Iron-fisted government once again.
Oh, I mean,
stopping innovation.
That's it.
I don't think you can really go building tunnels under people's houses.
Well,
without,
where would this world be if the government would have stopped Harriet Tubman?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not even going to argue that point.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, never mind.
This is the Ace and TJ Show.
Got him.
If you are on a dating app, Sunday is the most important day of the year for you. Why that's true next.
It's radio, it's a podcast. It's the Ace and TJ Podcast and Radio Show. More next.
When it's time for you to upgrade any of the furniture in your house, the first thing you need to do is check out Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. You're going to love the people that run Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. Go to acetj.com/mattress and find them. When it comes to buying or selling a house, there are all kinds of people that can help you do that, but not like the Temple team at Keller Williams Realty. They are so much more than just real estate salespeople. Find out by going to acetj.com/Temple team.
It's more than just a great room that makes the Hyatt-centric South Park Charlotte such a special hotel. It's the great restaurants, the great bar, the great meeting rooms, and a superior location. Make reservations and get details at acetj.com/Hyatt.
From the Calitrin Studios, Calitrin is the safe and effective way to lose weight. Find out more about Calitrin at acetj.com/weight loss. This is the Ace and TJ Podcast and Radio Show.
If you're on a dating app, take today to get everything shored up. Make sure your photos are the best. Everything is the very best it can possibly be, because Sunday is what they call the Super Bowl for dating apps.
It's my Super Bowl.
Yeah, according to Tinder, the first Sunday in January is Dating Sunday. It is the busiest day of the year for online dating. Tinder says on Dating Sunday, there is an extraordinary surge in people updating bios, uploading photos, sending messages, and responding to them. In fact, people respond to messages 19.4 minutes faster on Dating Sunday than on any other Sunday of the entire year. Now, they don't say exactly why, but the belief is that it's a mix of, fresh start for the new year. My resolution is to be more out there, be more available. And again, after months of holidays, a lot of people find themselves available now when they haven't before. They didn't want to do anything over the holidays, blah, 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 blah. They were already around a lot of people. And in many cases, they say single people have been around a lot of couples over the holidays. And they're like, I got to get back out there and find somebody. So, and again, it's not just Tinder. It was Match that called Dating Sunday the Super Bowl for dating apps a couple of years ago.
Yeah, which is disappointing. You would think a multi-billion-dollar company like that would be more creative than calling it the Super Bowl of dating app. Come on. You should have just called it the dating apps on steroids. Could have been that
Another good
original.
Don't they? The biggest breakup day of the year is right before Christmas.
Yeah,
Didn't we talk about that?
we talked about that. It was it the Monday after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
It was about 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks out from Christmas.
It's the Black Friday of breakups.
Right. So yesterday, my wife and I were in the car coming back from our spa day celebrating our anniversary. And she was going through her playlist for when she runs, which is a varied, hard rock, just Black Skinhead by Kanye is a great song to run to, all that kind of stuff. It's a very mixed bag. But anyway, a Nickelback song came up. She's like, I love running to this song. And she said, have you ever met them? And I said, yeah. No, have you ever seen them in concert? I said, no, I've never seen them in concert. I've always wanted to. She goes, have you met them? And I said, yes. We were backstage at an event in Charleston one night. Avril Lavigne was performing. We brought her on stage, and as we come off stage, it was when she and, God, his name escapes me at the moment. Chad Kroeger were married, and he was just standing there hanging out watching her perform. And as we were leaving, we walked by and just said, said, hey, man, just want to introduce myself and say, I love your band. And that was it. Just started to walk away. And he was like, well, hey, what's your name? And then he ended up meeting all of us, and he was super nice. Very, very nice. And I've always remembered that. Like, he didn't have to take a second to talk to us. And actually, I was kind of being annoying because he was trying to watch his wife perform. So we were curious about your celebrity interactions. People ask us all the time, like, what celebrities have you met, and who's been nice, and who's not been cool, and all that. And for the vast majority of them, they were very positive. But how did you meet them? Did you serve them at a restaurant? Were you in a Walmart and turn around and there's somebody? I mean, I don't know, how does it work? Because most of ours we met through work. You're in a radio station or at a concert or something like that. What, TJ? Why are you laughing?
I thought you were going a different direction with the question. I thought you were going to ask people what heterosexual women are married to gay men because y'all went to a spa day together. I completely missed the ball on that.
You were way off.
Yeah. We'll do that on Monday. So at the Ace TJ show, Riggins, have you ever met a celebrity and were disappointed that they weren't cool to you?
No.
Because I think most everybody we've met's pretty cool. Rob, have you?
No, everyone I've met's pretty cool.
Have either of you ever met a celebrity outside of the show?
No. I don't think so.
I'll give you an example. This happens commonly around here because of racing, but years ago, I was in a Walmart in line, and I got something, turned around, and there was Michael Waltrip was literally right behind me. I almost ran right into him. Michael Waltrip, the NASCAR racer. I was like, oh, man, excuse me. I mean, I didn't stop and meet him or anything. I was like, oh, that was Michael Waltrip.
Yeah,
that
that's
kind
cool.
of thing.
When we met Wendy Williams, she wasn't the nicest person I ever met, but she wasn't awful.
She was nice to me.
Well, she wasn't nice to.
I mean, she
nice
loved
to me.
me.
Oh, she was real nice to us. She was great.
Yeah, I mean, especially when the microphones were off. She was like, your husband's in the other room.
So at the Ace TJ show, give us your celebrity interaction, and it's important to know how did you meet them? What were the circumstances? We'll get to them next.
Live in the morning and anytime you want it on the Ace and TJ family app. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show. More next.
Today, every company is a technology company. No matter what type of business you're doing, you are a technology company in some fashion. But becoming a fully enabled digital workplace is not easy. That's why you should let CompuCom guide you. CompuCom is a proven leader in managed IT services. They deliver innovative solutions designed for how you work today and, most importantly, for how that will transform tomorrow. They help you deliver results. Just go to CompuCom.com for details. That's CompuCom.com. Meal delivery services are a big thing right now, but Table and Twine is your local meal delivery service. The meals are fresh, not frozen like national chains. Plus, their meals start at just $7.99 a serving. Take back that time in your day, leave the shopping, preparation, and cooking to Table and Twine. Get details at tableandtwine.com. That's tableandtwine.com. Give the gift of health and community with the Gaston County Family YMCA membership. It's more than just a gym. It's an opportunity to join a community, receive support for health and wellness, and participate in programming for all ages. Get details at gastonymca.org.
If you want all of the heating, air, and electrical work in your house done by the very best, then you need Bradham Brothers. They've been a family business thriving for over 50 years, and that means they're doing something right. Go to BradhamBrothers.com.
Share Funny is now a little bit extra. Don't miss the Extra Funny podcast, live every weekday on the Ace and TJ Family app or anytime wherever you get podcasts. This is the Ace and TJ podcast and radio show.
Yeah, I know you're wondering, hey, it's a new year, Ace and TJ. What does that mean for the weekend review? Coming up, less than 15 minutes. Riggins and the first weekend review of 2024.
New and improved with electric drums accompaniment.
One day.
Pew, pew. Like those kinds of electric, making that sound. Like,
I can do that
like in the 80s.
I can make that. Do it. It's got that. I've got it. There's a full electric, drum setup on my drum.
You remember when that guy worked for us and he just decided on his own that he was going to start clicking a tambourine during Riggins' weekend review, and I freaked out.
He didn't tell us.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No, you don't just come. This is perfect the way it is. Stop.
He made a lot of independent decisions.
And then come to find out, I think Riggins told him to do that.
No, I think he said he told Riggins he was going to bring a tambourine, and Riggins didn't have the guts to tell him don't do it.
He's like, I'm going to play tambourine on your song.
Because Riggins is like, well, it's not going to happen but once. I'll let them do the dirty work.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you? No, you're not really doing that, are you?
What are you going to say to that, though, when somebody's like, I'm going to play this?
You say, no.
No, I'm good. It's going to throw me off. I'm good.
My boss.
No, he wasn't your boss.
He wasn't your boss?
I thought he was kind of.
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
So your celebrity interactions.
He was your boss, Rob. We wouldn't let him boss around the golden child. You know that.
Come on.
Kidding.
When and under what circumstances have you encountered a celebrity, and what was that like? Like this lady Holland said, I met Ric Flair at an autograph signing when my oldest daughter was around 3. She was shy and hiding behind me. She'd never met anyone she'd seen on TV before, and he was so kind and made sure to talk to her as well. Very nice.
Who was it?
Ric Flair.
Oh.
Gail said, Oliver North at a restaurant I worked at in my early 20s.
That's cool.
He was kind, a great tipper, and signed an autograph over to my now ex-husband.
Mm-hmm. So a typical conservative.
Haley said, I met Christopher Lloyd in July last year. Very nice and very laid back.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah.
Oh, this is pretty cool. She said, a friend from work went with me and brought a letter from his niece to give to Christopher Lloyd. Instead of keeping it, he read the letter, then actually signed it, wrote her a little message back, and said, give that back to her.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a pretty cool thing.
And then he got in his DeLorean and went into another time zone.
Here's one that surprises me. April said, I met James Brown, yes, the godfather of soul, in 1995, and he was very sweet.
That's a good one.
I find that surprising. I just always think James Brown would be out of his mind all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he wouldn't be nice, just like it would be kind of a crazy scenario.
Hey, did he look good, smell good, make love good, like he always claimed?
I bet he was perspiring.
Look good.
Smell good, make love good.
That's one of my favorite clips ever. That news anchor on CNN. It's like, okay. Riggins in the Weekend Review coming up next.
Share Funny is now a little extra. The Extra Funny podcast coming up at 9 a.m. live on the Ace and TJ Family app and anytime